Hello viewers and welcome to watching this video. Today I'll be making fried yam, peppered sauce and beef. In my sink I already have my beef soaked in water and vinegar while I proceeded to prepping every other thing I'll be needing for this recipe. So here I'm done prepping my pepper while I proceeded to cutting my onions in big chunks because I want it to be in big chunks before then I cut my tomatoes. And I always cut my tomato in half to sniff it and be sure that it is the original smell of the tomatoes or any food, even fruit. I always cut it in half and sniff it to be sure if there is nothing fishy about it. So after cutting these tomatoes in half and sniffing it, I noticed that it has an awful smell of carbad. If you know what that is, carbad is a substance that people who sell food items use to ripen their food items quickly to make sales, and it is very bad for consumption. So they used it on these tomatoes and it's as if they injected it in these tomatoes because the scent of that carbad, I mean the smell, because it smelled bad, was very terrible. I had to throw that part away and then proceeded to washing my beef, seasoned with salt, seasoning cube, pepper, and onion. Then I set it on the cooker. So my beef is boiling. Then I proceeded to cut my yam into my desired shape. So cutting my yam and I cut it into rectangular shape because that's how I want it to be today. Even though most part didn't come out as a rectangle, and the center came out as rectangle, and that is all that matters to me. And the down part of this yam, I don't know if there's an English name for that part, but that's what I call it, the down part. I cut it and it began to change color, and it was only the last part, but the other parts didn't change color. Well, I cut it and put water and vinegar into a bowl and throw it directly into that water. It prevents that color from increasing and removes the color that has already been there. So I proceeded to washing the yam thoroughly with water. I don't know how many times, but to my satisfaction, I did. And then I had to put a tiny amount of water in the bowl and added salt to taste. I flipped it and added a little more water to cook the yam while frying. So I do that to help the cooking process and frying process of the yam faster. And I do that every single time if they're more than the usual thin slice. So this is more than a thin slice. And I added my beef and yam in the same pan to maximize time. And after this beef was ready, I added the second batch and I also added sausage off camera. And this is it. So I proceeded to making my